Father Ethan Moore told this story some years ago, and it just affected me. There was a Chinese fella living in China. He's still alive. But he was in China. He was a Catholic. There are some Catholics in China, and they have to practice the faith secretly. The underground church, I don't know if you ever heard anything about that. Because the communists are very much against them. And in this underground church, secret church, the communists wanted to find who the priest was. They didn't know who the priest was. And they arrested this guy, and they put him in jail, and they tortured him. Tell us who the priest is. He wouldn't give it up. He wouldn't give it up. 2 years. He's in jail for 2 years, being tortured intermittently. And he would never give up the priest because he loved the faith and he loved the Holy Eucharist. He loved Jesus so much. Well, eventually they found the priest and they killed him. And so there was no sense questioning this guy anymore, so they let him out of jail. He had a wife and kids, and he came back home. Eventually, some years later, he was able to get out of China. And he came to the United States with his family, legally. He started a small business. I don't know what the business was. But he started a small business, and he worked very, very hard. That happens so much. Immigrants come here, they start a small business, they just really work hard. Well, that was him and his family. And his business took off, did really good. And he kept working at it. And after a few years, his business was doing really good, but he was putting everything into it. He was working 7 days a week at his business. And you know what happened? He started being so concerned about his business that once in a while he started missing Mass on Sunday because he was too busy working at his business. And after a few years, he stopped going to church altogether. And after about 5 or 6 years, he stopped believing in Jesus completely. And his whole life was his business. That just cuts me to the heart. A man who went to prison for 2 years, who suffered torture for 2 years because of his love for Jesus and the Holy Eucharist, quit. Quit the church, quit the faith. What the communist couldn't torture out of him, America destroyed without even trying. There is a great danger to your faith in riches and wealth. I don't like it. Sometimes people, they argue, you all know the verse. It's easier to put a camel through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. And they'll argue, well, what did Jesus mean by a camel and the eye of a needle? Forget that. Look at the verse right before. Look at the sentence he said before that. He said, how hard it is for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. I don't think we can argue over what that one means. He said it's hard. How hard is it? Who knows? But it's hard. And I'm talking to rich people. We're all rich people compared to the 8 billion people on earth. We are probably all in the top 1%. So, what should we do about that? Well, we should use our money for God. We should see, and I can't tell you how to do that. I can't tell you what kind of car to drive, or what kind of house to have, or what kind of vacation to take. Look, you have to make all these choices, but put God at the center of things. Don't put the money at the center of things. You cannot serve God and money. So what are we serving in life? That poor Chinese guy. He didn't hate Jesus. He loved Jesus. But money and business and success and career, it took over. That's the weed. And it just, a few years. And it just took over and it choked him out. I still pray for that man. I often pray for him that he'll find his way back. How sad would that be to spend years in prison and being tortured and then later give up the faith? Doesn't that shock you that a guy like that would give up the faith? But doesn't it show you what can happen when the weeds get after you?